Good morning. Welcome back to Planet Doug. And at long last, I'm on my way to the airport here in KL. And assuming all goes well, the plane was going to take me to Padang in Sumatra. And from there, an AWR van is going to take me up into the mountains to Bukittinggi. And from Bukittinggi, a friend of mine there is going to pick me up and drive me up to the village of Sarik. Like the village on the volcano where I was staying before. So that's my final destination for today. A little bit complicated, I guess. Walk to the MRT, MRT to the airport bus to the airport, van to Bukittinggi, then another vehicle to the village. A lot of stages, a lot of steps, so it's only like an hour flight, hour and 10 minutes. But there's a lot of stages along the way. So yeah, packing up was really complicated. All the technology we have these days. And I'm a little bit worried about my smartphones because I don't know whether my phones will work when I get to Indonesia. There's this whole drama with customs there. You have to register your phone with customs now. And my phone seemed to have a 90-day limit. So I have no idea whether I will arrive with a working phone. You know, that's going to be the big question. Anyway, I'm here at the MRT station. That's what it looks like early in the morning. And I have a few coins left. So instead of touch and go, I'm going to use up my final coins to buy a token. Token purchased, though two of the machines, the coin slot was blocked, was jammed. But I finally found a machine that would work. In we go. And it's only 2 stops from here to KL Central, and that's where I get the airport bus. 15 ringgit the last time I did this to get to the airport. Takes maybe an hour, 10 minutes on the bus to get there. But yeah, just to expand on this smartphone business, the SIM card problem. The funny thing is, I still have a SIM card for Indonesia. It's still valid, has lots of time left on it. It works properly. It's through a company called Telkomsel, and I have a Telkomsel app on my phone, and I have 100,000 rupiah of credit on my phone. So everything works, the app works, the SIM card works, everything's perfect. But customs, they shut down the phone itself. And that's what I'm waiting to find out, whether they've done that or not. And there's quiet KL Central and heading out. There we go. Looked like my token wasn't going to go through there at first, but it did drop down. Once you know where to go and how these airport buses work, it's pretty simple, pretty easy, but it can be a little bit confusing for a first timer, I think. But that's KL Central behind me, LRT, MRT, KTM, all the trains are here. That's the express train over there, the fast one. And then that's the entrance to New Central Mall. But to get the bus, you have to go through here. Feels like, having trouble with my luggage. Feels like you're leaving the place and heading outside. Doesn't feel right, but you actually have to go down. Oh, look, there's a bus waiting. This bus has been getting more complicated and chaotic over time. So I was wondering what it would be like today. And yeah, there's a bus sitting here waiting, which is what I was hoping to see, with the door open so I can get my ticket and get right on board. And here's the ticket booth. And I think they're leaving right now, so perfect timing. I hear them shouting. amazing. How often does that happen in your life? In my life, pretty much never. I'm already going. I mean, I got down here to the bus platform at 7:29, and turns out they had a schedule. They had a sign up there at the ticket booth saying there's a bus leaving at 7:30. So they really were shouting, "We're leaving." And when I stepped on the bus, the second I stepped on, they closed the door behind me. So yeah, if I were like 30 seconds later coming here, I would have missed the bus, and I don't know when the next one is. I'm sure I still would have got there on time. I've left pretty early, so I've got plenty of time. All right, this is me and my fancy luggage. And there's the Sky Bus. Just dropped us off. A couple people stayed on. I guess they're going to the other terminal. But most people are getting off here. So there you go. You get a POV shot from the front of my luggage cart heading in. I love how these things work, just because they have a magnetic system that as soon as you put the trolley onto the track, it magnetically signals it to lock the wheels so it doesn't roll back. But of course, it still always rolls back a little bit. But of course, when you get to the top, you got to make sure to push it. Otherwise, it rolls backwards and it takes you with it. And they often they put staff here at the top just to make sure that nobody gets hurt by their own luggage. Thank you. I never know what to call this thing, and then I end up reading the sign, and they call it the Travelator. The sign, "Please push trolley at the end of Travelator." I think it's the only place in the entire world I've ever seen that name, or that word. Okay. And if I want to keep my luggage cart, then I have to go to an elevator here, if I remember right, because there's no more travelators. There's just the escalator. So I have to get up to a level 3 for departures. This is level 2. And if I remember right, there's an elevator over here that can handle trolleys, as they call these things. Didn't even know the elevator was here. I'm used to it being very crowded and very slow. And here we are, departures. Still feels like a shopping mall. Doesn't feel like I'm in an airport yet, except I saw a money exchange outlet. And here we are at the actual airport. And I'm here early enough that I'm not entirely sure that my flight will even be listed on the board yet. It's not till 11, and it's 8:30 now. Oh, there it is. Air Asia AK-4062 to Padang. And gate P7. So let's see if I can work through the system. So I've already checked in, but I don't have a boarding pass really, but I don't need one. So I guess I just need to print baggage tag, enter booking number, or I can scan it, I guess. Let's try to scan the boarding pass. The barcode needs to be at least 5 centimeters away from the scanner. I can never figure out where the scanner is. Oh, there it is. Yep, that's me. Confirm. Do you have a checked bag? Yes. If you're checking in any of these items, proceed to the check-in counter. Sports, fragile, damaged, perishable. Nope. No, I don't. Please enter the number. None, just one. Please wait while we print your bag tags. And that should be it, I think. All done. So that went smoothly. I was wondering what would happen because instead of actually having my boarding pass on the phone, I mean, I do have it, of course, but just in case I didn't have an internet connection, I took a screenshot of it. So I actually have a photograph of my boarding pass with the barcode, and I wasn't sure whether that would work for this. I don't know why, but it did work. And now I just have to put this on. Peel here. Stick here. All right. We peel. Oh, that's a lot that comes off. It's a big sticker. And you loop it through your luggage handles or whatever you've got. And then you've got to stick it together. Hey, look at these guys. Whoa. I'm always amazed at just how big surfboards are, especially because the bags are so thick. You can see the guys over there. I think they have 2 or 3 surfboards in each bag. That's why they're so big. Yeah, look at those. They're just huge. It's kind of interesting when you think about it. Oh, there's another one. And they're heading to oversized baggage, I'm sure. But you think of the surfing culture as being carefree and nothing to tie you down, just hanging out at the beach, no possessions, nothing to worry about. And yet when you go surfing as a holiday, you're carrying a big hunk of luggage, when you bring your surfboards with you. So you're not quite as free as you might think. And I've weighed all my bags, by the way. I have my own luggage scale. It's this thing here. So just for carry-on. They've been very serious about that lately. The last flights I've taken, they've weighed all the carry-on bags. And mine, I think this one is 5 kilograms, has my laptop in it and everything, like all my camera gear. So all my electronics are in here, so it's pretty heavy. But it still ends up being under the 7 kilogram limit. Okay, so this is, international baggage drop, okay. I should be able to do that here. Let's see if I can do this smoothly. Touch the screen. Scan your boarding pass. Okay, so that was my mistake last time. So I got to call up my. Okay, that's me. Going to Padang. Confirm. Place your bag on the belt. $9.4 kilograms. Yeah. Security notice. Did you pack it yourself? All the security stuff. Confirm. Scan your bag tag. Please make sure there are no children on the baggage belt. The bag tag is visible from above. Done. One moment, please. we're about to move the belts. And they're processing my bag. Do you want to drop another one? No. Enjoy your flight. Go to gate P7. Mr. Douglas Nienhuis. Excellent. All right, all done. That was yeah, you just slow down. I think that's the key to these things. Slow down. Take your time, be patient. Don't worry about the people waiting behind you, and just read each screen from top to bottom, and then you know what the next stage is. And yeah, it's pretty well designed. It even tells me at the end what gate I'm supposed to go to. So, I was bad-mouthing people about leaving their luggage carts, but in the end, the people there did bring them. I think they saw a man bringing away his cart, and they went, oh yeah, we should probably do that too. And then they took away their luggage cart. It's a big lineup for going through the next stage. I wonder why that is. Maybe they're being very careful again about the weight of the bags. Maybe they're weighing everyone's bag. Yeah, they are. Oh yeah, got to get rid of my luggage cart. There we go. It has served me well. My steed, my trolley. Oh, it's not fully in. Yeah, it takes a lot of force to get those in and get them out. I think a lot of elderly people are like physically can't do it. It takes too much strength, but okay. You can't see anything on the video because it is dangling from my pocket, but I just went through the luggage weighing area, and they're quite serious about it. A woman ahead of me tried to get through with 3 bags. Like she had a suitcase, carry-on suitcase, and then a knapsack, and then another bag. And yeah, they sent her away, so she has to go check in the bags now. So yeah, they're being quite serious. So here, the next stage for me, they scan. It's like a security, it's not immigration, but they still have to scan your boarding pass to let you through into the immigration area. So that worked out well. Again, everyone ahead of me had a paper boarding pass. So here, foreign passport. Yeah, it's all foreign. But I wasn't sure if I could scan my screenshot of my e-boarding pass. But yeah, it worked out fine. Just put your phone over top of the scanner and it scans it. So now becomes the first really tricky part. Getting stamped out of the country. Should be fine, but you never know with immigration. Well, that's it. I made it through customs and immigration. Oh, I haven't checked my stamp yet. You should always do that when you go through and they stamp your passport. Your instinct is just to put your passport away, but you really should look to see what did they stamp. You never know. Maybe he put in a big stamp that said, please detain this man when he shows up at the boarding gate, or never allow this man into Malaysia ever again. Like, I don't know. So I should check. And there are all the departure gates, of course. I think mine is over on the left somewhere, P7. But over here, there are restaurants and coffee shops. And I think there's even a McDonald's. I'm going to get a breakfast McMuffin. So here we go, one of my favorite things in the world. Eat in. And McMuffins and scrambled egg. So sausage McMuffin. Let's go for a sausage McMuffin with egg. And I'm going to make it a meal. And let's add, I think I'm going to get a iced lemon tea. Let's make it a large as well. And I can pay here because I have the power of, I was going to say table service, but they don't have a numbering system. So I guess you have to pick it up yourself. You don't have a choice. And I can pay with a QR code. Whoops. That's what I'm doing down there. Approved. I made sure I had credit on my eWallet in order to do this. So now I guess I just wait until my order shows up. Whew. Got my breakfast, but my battery in the GoPro died. I had to change it. Man, what a job that is. Oh man. The media mod shuffle. Changing a battery. Such a chore. Come on, GoPro, fix your media mod. So, as I said, lemon iced tea. I think I have a straw. Got to carry your own. I don't think I can get at it. Nah, I've got my laptop and so many things jammed in there, and that straw is way down at the bottom, so I won't have the pleasure of drinking with a straw. But there we go. Oh, it's so good. You wouldn't think going to the airport and checking in for your flight would be so tiring, but man, is it tiring. I feel exhausted. Yeah, it's a lot going on, a lot to think about, a lot of stages, a lot of steps, so I can reward myself with a McMuffin. One of my favorite things in the whole world. That's it, breakfast is done. I feel so much better. I often don't realize just how hungry I am. It's actually more thirsty. I think I dehydrate myself all the time. But that lemon iced tea is just like, nectar, absolute nectar. Heading down the escalator. And I still have to go through one more security station, and that's the one where you have to go through the metal detector and you have to remove everything metal. So I'm slowly stripping my body of everything. I forgot I still have my watch on. I have to take that off as well. So here I am in the departure gate. As I said, there are no bathrooms here, but I hopped in the bathroom just before I came in here. And I think all these guys in front of me, those are all the surfers. Because there's supposed to be some good surfing off Sumatra. I don't know where the surfing is, but they're flying into Padang, so that's where the good surfing must be. Yeah, they goosed me along to get here pretty quickly because I was out just walking around, just checking the place out, taking my time. And then I looked up at the board and it was suddenly flashing, final call for my flight. It's still 30 minutes until the flight is scheduled to leave. When I saw that sign, it was still like 35 minutes before the flight is scheduled to take off. But it says final call, final call. So I thought, oh no, I've waited too long, so I'm rushing here, But of course, they're using psychological tricks on passengers just to make sure that, they check in early, they get here on time. Yeah, they just started boarding now. I think the official boarding time is 10:20, but they're starting now at 10:30. But my seat is way at the back of the plane, so I can wait until the end. Yeah, I saw one man up ahead of me, another a Westerner like me, and he had a big suitcase, the full-sized suitcase that you can take on as carry-on, and then he had a big backpack as well, and somehow he snuck through, with those two bags, so he didn't have to pay for a check bag. Smarter than me. Anyway, time to board along with the surfer dudes. Excuse me. You guys had all the surfboards, right?
Yeah.
Where's the surfing near Padang? Where do you go?
Mentawais. So like you jump on we're on a boat, and the boat crosses the channel to the Mentawai Islands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've heard of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. You kind of.
You've been there before?
Yeah, only once.
Once.
Yeah, a few years ago, but on a pretty average boat, and this boat's a bit nicer. So, yeah, so you sleep at night, and the boat goes to the next island. You wake up in the morning, and it's different.
Takes that long to get there?
Yeah, there's just a whole group of islands. Yeah.
Really?
These are our boards.
Oh, the boards.
They're so fragile, and they're just rolling.
Oh. Okay. I was wondering what you were watching. Yeah.
It's upside down.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, that's nerve-wracking. Make me anxious.
They're very fragile.
I was just chatting with the surfers a little bit, and they're all watching. They're unloading their surfboards right now, the ones that I saw, and there's a big uproar because they're sort of tossing them in the air and perhaps damaging them. You're not one of the surfers?
I am.
You are?
My board's already gone off.
Oh, it's already gone. How did they treat yours?
It wasn't too bad. Mine was a bit lighter. I was worried they were going to send it,
in.
but no, it was alright.
So when you go on one of these surfing trips, how long is it usually?
I think this one's 12 nights on the boat.
Okay.
So yeah, we get on the boat.
Oh, you're on a boat the whole time?
The whole time.
Awesome.
So we go to the Mentawais, which is off Sumatra, and you can drive around to all the different waves. 12 nights on the boat. We leave tomorrow, drive through the night to get there and wake up over there.
And then you end up surfing at a bunch of different places.
Yeah, so you can surf 20 or 30 different locations because the boat would just drive to wherever the swell and the conditions are the best.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you sleep most nights on the boat, or do you sometimes sleep ashore?
I sleep on the boat every night.
Every night?
Sleep, eat, everything on the boat. So by the end of 12 nights, we're all getting a little bit crazy.
Huh. I'd never heard of that kind of thing before.
Yeah, no, it's super popular off where we're going, Padang.
Okay.
Padang's the hub to get out to the Mentawais. So I reckon there'd be 20 or 30 different companies that run boat tours out there. And then there's a whole heap of land-based camps as well if you don't want to start a boat.
So I'm heading to the back. 29F is me. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a relatively full flight. It was a struggle, but I made it into my seat way here in the back. I thought choosing a seat in the back, if there were an empty area, I would be in the empty area. But of course, the whole flight is full, so every seat is taken. And there's so much luggage. Everybody's struggling to find a place to put their bags, so it's taking forever to everybody to get seated. Mine, at least, is small enough. I can just put it underneath the seat in front of me. It's just right here at my seat. I would normally put it up there somewhere, but there's absolutely no room. Everything is jammed. There's so much luggage in here. Yeah, I was chatting with the surfing guys a little bit, as I said, and I was watching them watching their surfboards getting loaded, and I talked to a guy later on who said, well, his board is worth $1,000. It's an expensive piece of equipment, and they film and take pictures so that they see them treating them quite roughly, and then there is damage, they can present evidence to the airline about what happened and maybe get reimbursed. But yeah, they were telling me something I didn't know, that Padang is like a center for boats that take them out to the surfing islands, and they live on the boat for 12 days and 12 nights. Well, I guess maybe 11 nights, 12 days, something like that. But they basically get on a boat out of Padang, and then the boat takes them from island to island to island, and they're just surfing all the time. And they spend every night on the boat. They sleep on the boat. Yeah, pretty amazing. I had no idea that was going on here. And we're backing out of our spot. It's about 10 minutes until takeoff time, so we're right on schedule, which is nice. Nice shot of the airport tower there. Very cool. Beautiful day. Nice day to have a window seat, I guess. And taking off at 11:07. Pretty good timing. Always strikes me as interesting that before we take off, of course, we have to get to the beginning of the runway, and we go there at a very slow speed. So you're basically flying the jet in first gear, first gear of a car, and just creeping. Like we went the entire distance of this runway, all the way to the end at slow speed, before we could turn around and take off. There's the airport, of course, Lavalier. I'm not sure I've had such a nice view of the airport from the air before. No, I don't think I've ever seen it from the air. Lately, I've always been getting aisle seats, thinking it's not such a big deal to look out the window, but I'm kind of glad I got a window seat today. And of course you get to see the palm oil plantations, even right around the airport. Look at the size of them, all the palm oil trees. Pretty sharp turn for a plane this big, at least it feels like a sharp turn. Camera pointed straight up into the sky practically. We're on a really sharp bank, really sharp angle. Can't even see the ground out the window. There it is, the edge of the water. Very muddy bank there. No sandy beaches around here. See the water on the west coast now, so we're approaching the airport. I was hoping we could see the volcanoes near Bukittinggi, but that entire area around Bukittinggi was completely covered in clouds, so we've got no visibility there at all in the upper plateau of the higher mountains. But it's cleared up a little bit here near Padang. Yeah, you can see the water down there. Always cool to descend into the clouds, like we're right on top of them, just on the very tips, and then we're going to go down through them. There's a nice view of the coastline. We're banking, heading into the runway. I don't know if you can make this out, but there are these underground like rocks or something with a lot of greenery and just tiny fishing boats, little clusters of, they look like grains of rice from up here. Flew out over the water and turned around 180 degrees. Now we're flying back inland, heading for the airport. And nice view of the coastline. Look at that, it's gorgeous. And of course it's flat right here, heading from here down to Padang City. You can see Padang there in the distance. But outside of this flat area, it's all low mountains. I wasn't sure about the weather. I haven't kept track of the weather, so I wasn't sure what it would be like returning to Sumatra right now, but so far it looks like pretty good timing. And if all these surfers are coming here to go surfing, and if this is the surfing season, I assume that means for the most part there are going to be clear skies. Oh, this is really nice. I'm really glad I sat by the window this time. And it's nice to sit this far back. I can't see the engine on the wing, but the wing is not really obstructing my view. If you sit more in the middle, a lot of the view out the window is just nothing but an expanse of wing. And now this little bit of wing kind of gives a nice perspective on the land. Everything is very green. I'm surprised. Even some wet rice fields out there that have been flooded, so they're still flooding the fields. I thought maybe it'd be the dry season and everything would be brown. No, it looks very nice out there. Final approach, I think. You can tell. Sometimes it's misleading. It's hard to tell how high we are above the ground in a way. But then you start seeing the land below us moving faster and faster and faster, and you know you're dropping down and getting closer. So of course, when you're up in the air, you really have no sense of speed. You don't really feel how fast you're going. And of course, we slow down dramatically for landing, but still moving pretty fast. As the ground comes up to meet us, the speed, the apparent speed anyway, increases dramatically. Passing a mosque, lots of palm trees. A little bit of bumpy air as we get closer to the ground. And there we are. Touchdown. Almost. Right there. There's the airport building, the terminal. You can see the full name there. Bandar Udara Internacional Minangkabau. And the roof line, of course, has the traditional Minangkabau shape. The bullock horns swept up to a peak on both sides to represent the horns of the bullock, the water buffalo. Now comes the next hurdle to overcome. Visa on arrival and going through immigration. Arrivals, we've arrived. Unloading that airplane was just as chaotic as everybody getting on. So much luggage. Yeah, it's crazy. So now I have to find visa on arrival. Oh, there it is there. US. All the surfers are over there getting their visas. And last time I was here, I also had to get a customs card, but that was at Pekanbaru. Maybe they don't have that here. Here's all the surfer dudes. And it looks like most of the people on the plane were actually Indonesian. They're all lining up for the Indonesia line for immigration. A few foreigners. So this is me filling out the customs declaration. They do have one here. I just got it at the visa on arrival window. So there's my visa on arrival receipt. It says $35 US on it, but I paid 500,000 rupiah. And yeah, the guy was so friendly. I showed him my passport from Canada, And he spoke English, and he says, Canada, far away from home, far away from home. He says, yeah, it's a long way away. And I gave him the 500,000, and I kind of made a big deal about saying 500,000 rupiah, here you are. And he took the money and he fanned it, and he sort of like fanned himself with it. Ooh, 500,000 rupiah. And he fanned it in front of me like a deck of cards. Very, very friendly. So I would normally want to fill this out on the plane, but yeah, they don't give them out anymore. I like to be able to fill it out in advance, but I found a little, I'm filling this out on top of the emergency, like fire department gear, like a fire extinguisher and hoses and axes, but there's a nice little ledge here. All right, let's get in line. And there's the line, nice and short now, and there's the surfer dudes. Oh, so technically I am in Indonesia now, just sitting outside. When you go through immigration and customs here, you're almost immediately tossed outside into the outside world. There's really nothing in the airport on the inside. So I think there are some, it's a coffee shop and some restaurants over in that direction. And sort of along the edges here, there's a couple of shops. I haven't gone walking yet, but I'm going to head in that direction in a minute or two. Yeah, this is the arrivals right there. You just come out and this is where you are. And there's some shuttle buses here. I'm not quite sure where this one goes. And one good thing is that they have public Wi-Fi here. It's free. So I'm logged into the airport Wi-Fi. So that solves one problem. If I need to communicate with my shuttle bus, I'm on the internet. But I'm about to, I'm going to fire up my second phone. And my second phone is the one that has the Indonesian SIM card in it. And as I mentioned, when I was in Malaysia, I checked it. And I could see everything from Malaysia. The SIM card was fine. I could look at the app, see how much credit I have. Everything is fine. But I'm not sure I'll be able to connect any kind of Wi-Fi here, like a mobile internet. Customs may have shut it down. Anyway, I'm going to find out in a minute. Bad news. No, that phone is shut down. I got the same error message that I got last time I was here. You get an error message that says SIM 1 disallowed, and that means the customs just turned off your phone. Your SIM card is good, you have credit, you have money, you have everything, but the physical phone, they turn it off, and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, I'm making some progress with my life here at the airport. I have, what time is it? Oh, it is noon, and my van is supposed to get here in an hour and a half. Comes at 1:30. Just for entertainment's sake, I'm going to... What did I do with it? Oh, yeah, okay. Like I said, I have a SIM card in this phone, and it's getting SIM 1 disallowed, but I'm going to take it out and put it into this phone, which has never been registered before, and just see what happens. It's kind of crazy, but let's give that a try. I ordered an iced cappuccino. Yeah, so nice here. I know it's a little bit of a cliche, perhaps, for people who go to a new country, but I think Indonesia is in a special category of its own, just in terms of how approachable and friendly people are. Yeah, I really like it here. No luck, just finished my coffee, and I have 3 smartphones in total, and I tried every possible combination of SIM card in each phone, and the 2 good phones, the 2 phones that I used before in Indonesia, both are blocked, and it just says SIM 1 disallowed. Things are happening. I have a video here. Yeah, AWR is here. They're in the house. They actually had a little desk here, but under a different name. But this is the AWR van. Looks familiar from my previous trips. executive class, except the font is exactly like Coca-Cola. And since there's nobody here, I think we're gonna go back into Padang. I'll bet you we're gonna just go straight back into the city and then leave from there. Whew. Hot in here. Oh. Yeah, I asked him about paying, to pay for the ticket, and he said, no, we pay at the office. So I'm guessing now we're actually going to turn all the way around and go back into Padang to the AWR office. I thought they would go Padang Airport straight to Bukittinggi, but I think we're going to go back into Padang. So could be a longer trip than I thought. But, yeah. This is quite the van. This is old school. I was trying to close the door, but there was no door handle, so I couldn't get a grip on it. But he got it closed. Whew. And we're on our way out of the airport. One thing I didn't mention in terms of my arrival story is that the immigration clerk, he actually took a hard look at me. I was kind of surprised. He didn't look at my passport at all at the beginning, so he didn't know that I'd been to Indonesia before, quite recently. So he had no idea anything about me, but he just, when I first got up to his window, he just started asking a lot of questions. He really wanted to know how long was I going to stay in Indonesia, what was I doing here, where was I going to go, and he was giving me a lot of rope to sort of let me talk, so I was, he was listening, I guess, for certain clues, immigration clues, and if I'm up to no good in his country. But I mean, my story made sense to him. I knew where I was going. I could speak like a tourist. Yeah, I'm heading up to Bukittinggi, and I'm going to be doing some traveling by bicycle, and I don't think I'm going to go there. But I said I might go to Lake Toba, and I named all these places, so I sounded like a tourist. And he held on to my passport for quite a long time before he started the visa process. Asked me a lot of questions. Where was I going to stay when I got here? Where had I come from? Where was I before this? And then when I leave Indonesia, where am I going to go and how am I going to get there? So yeah, it was a serious interview. It wasn't just a formality, just to stamp the passport and let me through. I had to answer a lot of questions, so I was kind of surprised, but I guess I was the one person in line he decided to ask a lot of questions. But I got stamped into the country eventually. It's funny how these things turn out. From a distance, I'm always trying to figure out how things work. And I ask as many questions as I can about, just the logistics, like what time and where do we go and the pickup and how do you pay. And I just like to know these things in advance. But no matter how many questions you ask and how much you learn in advance, you still never know what's going on until you actually get there and go through it. So this whole time I thought, of course, the van goes to the airport, picks you up, and then goes to Bukittinggi. But it turns out, no, they have an office, AWR office, right there. You can see the sign, and this is just like a couple kilometers from the airport. So that's the kind of a shuttle van that goes back and forth from the airport to here. Because I was wondering whether that van could even make it over the mountains, to be honest. I mean, it's a little bit old and rickety. But basically, they pick you up at the airport, bring you here, and then once you're there at their main office, then you buy your ticket and you pay, and they fill out the paperwork. And now we get in the real van that goes to Bukittinggi. So of course, in all the communication I did with the company about this, that, buying the ticket, scheduling, at no point did I understand that that's how the system worked. So I had it completely backwards in my mind. So in fact, I have the same driver from last time when I drove down from Bukittinggi here. He just reintroduced himself, Robbie, and that's Robbie over there driving the van. and he was my driver last time when I came down to the airport. So, yeah, as I said, you just never know how things work until you get there, and then you go through it, and it's like, that's how the system works, you know, and everything clicks into place at long last. So we're on our way now in the real van, heading to Bukittinggi. I'm still a little bit worried about the weather. Someone at the airport told me that it rained heavily over the last day or two, and now the skies are, you know, completely overcast, and who knows. I've given up kind of worrying about it. Everywhere I go, it's always the rainy season, so there's not much I can do to avoid it. The rain will follow me wherever I go. Almost the end of the road. We've arrived at the AWR office in Bukittinggi. Don't know if you can see the signs up above me, but if you were going to the airport from Bukittinggi, this is where you would come. It's 4 o'clock local time, 5 o'clock Malaysia time, and the trip in this van took 2.5 hours to get here. We left at 1:30, arrived at 4 o'clock, 2.5 hours. And then a friend of mine from the village is going to come pick me up, and can't quite remember how to pronounce his name. I'll have to ask him when he shows up. Kati, perhaps? Kati. But yeah, his family lives in the village where I'm staying, and he goes to high school in Bukittinggi. But yeah, he offered to come pick me up. So that's the next stage, but it's only like 15-minute drive to go from here back to the village. So I'm pretty much, my journey is almost over. This is like the young man's bachelor adventure vehicle, right?
Yes. Off-road.
I'll throw that in the back too. There we go. Do you mind being on video a little bit?
It's okay.
It's okay. 'Cause how do you say your name again?
Chati.
Chati?
Yes.
So it's a ch at the beginning.
Cha.
Chati.
Yeah. Yes.
And I was telling people earlier that you're a high school student.
Yes.
In Bukittinggi.
Yeah. Senior high school.
Senior high school. When do you graduate?
The end of this year. So
End of this year. Oh, okay. And then high school in Bukittinggi is finished.
Yes. And go to university.
You know which one?
I'm still thinking about
Still
it.
thinking about it. But your family doesn't live in Bukittinggi, they live in Sari.
Yes.
Alright. Who's there now? Who is at your house?
My mom, my dad,
Your mom and your dad are both there?
my brother and sisters live in Jakarta.
In Jakarta, that's right.
Your number not active.
No, I'm having trouble again. There's a new system in Indonesia where you can only use your phone for a short time, and then they block it. So I have to go to Telkomsel and see if they can unblock my phone. I have a SIM card.
Yes.
I have data.
I text you, but it's not received.
No, I don't have any connection. Doesn't work. Yeah. I tried. I thought maybe I could get a new SIM card, but at the airport, they don't have it. You can't get a SIM card. So. How has the weather been like here?
The weather is rainy season.
Again?
Yeah.
Every time I come to Sumatra, it's the rainy season. So.
I was wondering what time your bus will arrive, kan?
Yeah, it came at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
Yep. So it was pretty good timing. Yeah. I wasn't sure about the exact time, so I told you 4:30.
Yeah.
Seemed a good time.
Because 30 minutes past 3,
Yeah.
I called the AWR company to
Ah.
ask, is there a foreigner have arrived in their office? So, no, there is not yet.
Okay.
They said.
Yeah, not at 3:30 yet. But yeah. They left from the airport at about 1:30. So it took,
On time.
yeah, right on time. A little bit later than 1:30, but so 2.5 hours to come here. There's a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
So much traffic.
Because there is no highway.
Yeah.
It's a local road.
Yeah, kind of like this road here.
Yeah.
So narrow.
So narrow.
And so many big trucks.
Busy.
Yeah. So it looks like, as usual, I made a mistake by staying in Malaysia for so long, because I think all that time the weather here would have been nice, so I should have come back. But now that I finally came back, I got back just in time for the new rainy season.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, there it is here, the Oyo 2199. So I would have stayed here, small hotel right there.
Yeah.
And I stayed there before. And then I could walk up this road and then,
It's not very far walk from here.
no, I don't know, 3 or 4 kilometers,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, not surprisingly, I did everything wrong on this trip. Because I stayed away for so long, my phone got blocked by the government again, so I have that problem.
It's very weird policy.
Yeah, so strange. I don't understand it. And there's one volcano. You can't really see it today because the rainy season. Singalang,
Yes,
right?
that is Mount Singgalang.
Mount Singalang,
And on the left is Mount Merapi.
Marapi, and you can't see Mount Marapi either.
That's the shop.
If there is an easy store, could I stop to buy some water? Did you know a place easy to park your car?
Oh, there is ahead. There is a shop.
Is there?
Yes.
I just want to make a cup of coffee when I go to the house. And I don't have any water.
No. My mother told me to give you a coffee.
Oh yeah?
This is local coffee.
Oh, okay. She remembers I like coffee?
Yeah. She remembers you like coffee. Have you eaten yet?
No,
Okay.
I haven't.
Right. Then we stop at my house to eat.
Okay, that'd be great. Here we are, home sweet home. Sarik is just up ahead there, and that's Mount Marapi. Looks really nice though, even though it's the rainy season.
Yeah.
I kind of like the rainy season. It's cooler,
Yeah.
and you get a lot of green. Yeah,
Green plant and vegetation.
yeah. So when you drive down this road, like all the people, do you know all of them? Do you recognize everybody?
Not everybody, but I recognize this house.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's some very interesting houses here.
Yeah.
Very old
house.
ones, yeah. I wonder what he makes.
He makes a drink.
A drink?
Plants.
Plants?
We made a drink from leaf.
Okay. Padang?
Huh?
Padang?
No. This one. That is my food.
Yeah. that old house too?
Yeah,
I thought that was your house before.
because I commented in your video.
Yeah. But then I knew, yeah, probably this house. More modern.
Wait a minute, my dog is.
I know, he's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
He likes you, but doesn't like me.
Yes.
So yeah, we're here at Chati's house. They have a guard dog. Very friendly, but trained to bark at intruders. And technically, I'm an intruder, so I gotta go put him away. But yeah, where I'm spending the night is just up here a little bit. But Chati invited me in for dinner, I think, to have something to eat. So I am here at Chati's house, and they found out that I have not had anything to eat. So look at this. Oh,
Rendang.
yeah, rendang. Rendang is there. And what would you call this?
In Minang, telur salah kacau.
Telur sakat. Okay, and of course rice and some vegetables there. And Chati and I were just talking about his English class, and I was looking at his work, and he got 100%. So good student. So yeah, we're gonna sit down and have something to eat. Isn't that amazing? Ooh, well. So perhaps almost the end of the day. I didn't record anything during dinner, not so much. I showed the food, but it was really good. Rendang, a homemade, you know, the rendang, they made it here. It was really, really tasty. That was really good. And I'm getting a lift in the Suzuki all the way to my home here. And the weather has cleared up a little bit. Look at that. A little bit of beautiful sky. Yeah, so that's Bukittinggi down there. Oh, you can see the top of Mount Singalang. Singalang.
Yeah, Singgala.
Singalang over there. Beautiful view. And then in this direction, no, you can't. Well, yeah, there it is, Mount Marapi. Oh, actually it looks different. What's all... Is that a big fire?
No, that's cloud.
But it looks like burned or something. All that brown on the top. I never saw that before, I don't think. Maybe it's just a...
Maybe it's the sunlight. Right?
Yeah, maybe just the sun. Huh. All right. So.
I close my eye.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not very far to where I'm staying, but my luggage is a little bit awkward. It's not a backpack or a suitcase or anything. So he's offered to drive me the final distance.
Sure.
And because I don't have any internet access, nobody really knows where I am or what's going on. So I don't know what the family is thinking. Like, where is Doug? Oh, we didn't see your bicycle again.
Oh yeah.
Some other time, I guess.
Next time.
Yeah.
The afternoon, people walk their dog.
Yeah, hunting dogs, right?
Yeah.
This is downtown.
Yeah.
Downtown Sariak.
Downtown Sariak.
When I was here before, this would be my hangout right over here.
Yeah.
I would always have coffee over there, if it's open. And my temporary home, my adopted home, is just up here. So,
Very quiet village, right?
yeah. pretty rough. Oh, there's my favorite cat. This cat is always here. Is hunting the fish and the birds.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the children here, the young boys, they know me because I walk around so much here.
This is also my mother home.
Oh yeah?
On the
Also?
left.
Oh, okay.
Alright. Okay.
Hello. Hello. You gonna come say hi? No. So the key for the front door has gone walkabout. It's gone out somewhere, so we're going through the back door. And I guess I'll...
Nur.
Nur.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, how...
Forget.
Nur. Pak, Iwan, and Nur. Is that her full name? Nur?
Maybe her short name.
Short name, yeah. So we're going through the back door. And oh,
Oh, he found a key.
oh yeah, you found a key. So I guess we're okay.
Okay.
So anyway, thanks again.
Yeah.
That was really nice of you. It makes it good luck at school tomorrow. Say hi to your English teacher.
100 and check mark.
Yeah, 100 check marks. That's pretty cool.
See you guys.
Okay, thank you. Changes in my absence. This is the living room of this family home right here. And this is the room where I was staying before, and then the door was, or is locked, but it turns out apparently I'm set up in that room over there now. I don't know how visible I am in the dark here. It's getting darker and darker. And once more, my microphone batteries died without me realizing it. Oh, hello there. And this is my friend from before, who's absolutely fascinated by these birds. As you can see, all these birds flying around here. They live underneath this house. And I don't know if this cat ever catches them, but she loves to sit on the ledge there. And if the birds get too close, they're going to be a snack for her. Yeah, I'm sure she must get them. Anyway, I don't have any drinking water, so I have to head out into the village and try and find some water. I wonder if this little shop here sells water. Maybe they do, I don't know. I've never gone in there shopping before. Yeah, it's one thing about spending any time in a village like this. Ah, hello.
Hello,
How are you?
mau kemana?
Oh. Makan?
Oh, makan.
Oh yeah, over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I already have. I'm just going to get minuman.
Oh, minuman.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I have the... So, that was the caretaker family for the house, Pak, Iwan, and Nur, and they just came up on their scooter, and yeah, me showing up like this is quite an event. I'm sure I'm disrupting everyone's day, but yeah, so let's see if I can find any drinking water. There's a little shop around the corner here, and it may or may not be open. But yeah, it's turning into quite a long day. I was hoping to pick up some water on the way, but never quite got around to it. Let's see, I was just saying that, yeah, when you're staying in a village like this, everyone here is self-sufficient. So it's not like a city where you can just go outside and go to any restaurant or coffee shop, or you know, people here prepare their own meals at home and they get their water delivered in big bottles, and so it's not that suited for someone like me who does not have that sort of a family setup. Anyway, let's see if I can find some water. So I'm back in my room, or my new room. As I said, I was staying in the room beside this one, and all of my gear has been moved into this one, so I guess this is where I'm bedding down for now. And I have water, so I have drinking water. More importantly, I have coffee water. I may have a cup of coffee this evening still. I feel like I need something to sort of relax, but I have to unpack first, plug in all my electronics, recharge batteries, do all that sort of stuff, and yeah, settle into this place. And then tomorrow, of course, yeah, head down to Telkomsel and see if I can get connected to the internet. Without the internet, I'm sort of lost, you know? So I've got to get that sorted out first thing. A bit unfortunate, but there's nothing I can do about it. And it gives me a chance to get on the bike and ride into town. So that's it. Shutting down, chaotic end, perhaps, to a somewhat chaotic day. Certainly a long day, but here I am. And I'll see you in the next video.